In the verdant heart of ancient Greece, there lived a young man named Narcissus, whose extraordinary beauty was said to rival that of the gods themselves. His allure was a divine gift, a testament to the union of the ethereal and earthly. But this gift, as radiant as it was, would prove to be a curse that led to a tragedy that would echo through the annals of time. Narcissus was born to Cephissus, the river god, and Liriope, a nymph of the forest. From a tender age, it was clear that Narcissus was destined to stand out. His golden hair flowed like a river of sunshine, his eyes were deep pools of sapphire, and his skin was as smooth and fair as the petals of a lily. His beauty was bewitching, and the world seemed to bow before him. Narcissus grew up in the lush woods surrounding Mount Helicon, spending his days wandering among the trees and streams. His beauty did not go unnoticed. Nymphs and satyrs, creatures of the wilderness, yearned for his affection. Yet, he remained untouched by their advances, for he was consumed by his own image, captivated by the reflection he found in the crystal-clear waters of a pool hidden deep within the forest. One fateful day, as Narcissus bent down to drink from the pool, he glimpsed his reflection for the first time. His heart skipped a beat, and he fell hopelessly in love with the image he saw. It was a love like no other, for he believed his reflection to be a nymph dwelling within the pool, one who could only be touched by his own tender caress. "Who are you?" Narcissus whispered, his voice trembling with desire. "I am Echo." The reflection seemed to respond, for Narcissus could only hear his own voice echoing back to him. He was captivated, his infatuation growing with each passing moment. Narcissus spent his days kneeling by the pool, gazing longingly at his reflection, and whispering sweet words to Echo, who only ever repeated his own words back to him. He refused the advances of nymphs and satyrs, oblivious to their affection, for he was ensnared by his own beauty, lost in the labyrinth of self-adoration. News of Narcissus's obsession with his reflection spread throughout the land, and the gods themselves took notice. It was not long before the gods decided to intervene, for Narcissus's vanity had reached unbearable heights. Nemesis, the goddess of retribution and vengeance, saw the suffering that Narcissus's self-love had caused. She decided that he must be taught a lesson, for such unbridled narcissism could not go unpunished. Nemesis devised a plan, and soon, the fateful day arrived. Narcissus, as usual, knelt by the pool, enraptured by his own reflection. Unbeknownst to him, Nemesis called upon Echo, the nymph whose voice he had so ardently pursued. She imbued Echo with the power to speak her own words, to finally break the curse of endless repetition. As Narcissus continued to whisper sweet nothings to his reflection, Echo, for the first time, spoke her own words. "Love me," she implored, her voice carrying the depth of her longing and sorrow. Narcissus, startled by the unfamiliar voice, looked around, searching for the source of the words. "Who's there?" he called out. "It is I, Echo," she replied, her voice quivering with emotion. "I love you, Narcissus. I am not the reflection you see, but a living, breathing being who longs for your touch." Narcissus, torn between his love for the reflection and the real, living Echo, felt a torment he had never known before. His heart ached with the knowledge that he could never embrace the reflection in the pool, but he also knew that he could not reciprocate Echo's love. "I cannot love you," he declared, tears welling up in his eyes. "I am in love with my own reflection, with the beauty I see in the pool." Echo, devastated by his rejection, could only repeat his words back to him, her heart breaking with each syllable. She retreated into the shadows of the forest, her voice forever condemned to echo the words of others. Narcissus, left alone by the pool, continued to gaze at his reflection, oblivious to the tragedy that had unfolded. He reached out to touch the image, but as his fingers grazed the water's surface, the reflection shattered into 1,000 sparkling fragments, mirroring the shattered fragments of his own heart. In his despair, Narcissus cried out for Echo, but she was nowhere to be found. He wandered through the forest, searching for her, but she remained hidden, her voice now a mere whisper in the breeze. Unable to bear the pain of his unrequited love, Narcissus withdrew from the world. He wasted away by the same pool where he had fallen in love with his own reflection, until all that remained of him was a beautiful flower, a white, trumpet-shaped blossom that bore his name, the Narcissus flower. The gods, witnessing the tragic end of Narcissus, were filled with sorrow. They understood that the consequences of unchecked vanity and self-absorption could lead to the most profound and heartbreaking of tragedies. And so, they immortalized the story of Narcissus as a warning, a cautionary tale of the dangers of narcissism. The term, narcissism, was born from this tale, signifying an excessive love or admiration for oneself, often to the detriment of one's relationships and well-being. It became a psychological concept, studied and analyzed by scholars and clinicians alike. Narcissism, as depicted in the story of Narcissus, could lead to isolation, self-destruction, and a profound inability to connect with others on a deep and meaningful level. The story of Narcissus and Echo continues to resonate in modern times as a timeless reminder of the perils of excessive self-love and the importance of genuine human connection. It is a story that cautions us against becoming ensnared in our own reflections, lest we, like Narcissus, find ourselves lost in a world of empty echoes, forever yearning for a love that can never be returned. As the centuries passed, the story of Narcissus and Echo remained a prominent and enduring myth, embedded in the collective consciousness of humanity. Artists, writers, and philosophers drew inspiration from its themes, using them to explore the complexities of human nature and the pitfalls of vanity.